She had millions of followers, a perfect Dubai penthouse, and a life most people only dream of. But one night, that dream turned into a nightmare. Hina Salim, one of Dubai's most followed influencers, was found dead in her luxury apartment, her phone still recording when it happened. The shocking part: police say the killer wasn't a stranger, it was someone from her inner circle. This is the story of betrayal, power, and a murder that's shaking Dubai and the entire world. Dubai, the city of gold, luxury skyscrapers, supercars, and private yachts. For many, it's a place where dreams turn into reality. And for Hina Salim, it was exactly that. At just 26 years old, Hina had built a massive social media following. Her Instagram was filled with stunning pictures, the desert safaris, 5-star brunches, designer handbags, and views from her penthouse apartment. To the outside world, she was living the dream. But behind the filters, there were cracks beginning to show. Friends say Hina was ambitious, driven, and fiercely independent, but she was also keeping secrets. She was reportedly in a relationship with a wealthy businessman who often stayed out of the spotlight. Some claimed it was serious. Others whispered it was complicated, even dangerous. In the weeks leading up to her death, Hina's posts began to feel different. Her captions became cryptic, talking about betrayal, trust, and people wearing masks. One close friend later told police that Hina had confided she felt like someone was following her. She had even sent voice notes saying she was done with fake people and was ready to tell the truth. But she never got the chance. On the night of her death, she posted stories from a private dinner, laughing, smiling, clinking glasses with friends. It seemed like just another glamorous night in Dubai. No one could have known that only hours later, her apartment would become a crime scene, and the world would be left wondering who really killed Hina Salim. July 18, 2024, a warm summer night in Dubai. Hina Salim returned to her penthouse apartment just before midnight after attending a private dinner. Security cameras captured her walking through the lobby, smiling at the guard, phone in hand, as if recording a final video for her followers. What happened next would shock the entire city. Around 2:30 a.m., neighbors reported hearing a loud thud, then silence. Moments later, Hina's phone went dark during what appeared to be an Instagram live. By morning, friends grew worried. Hina had not posted anything unusual for someone known to share every detail of her day. When repeated calls went unanswered, one friend drove to her building and asked security to check on her. What they found inside was horrifying. Hina was discovered in her bedroom, lifeless. The scene showed no sign of forced entry, no broken locks, no smashed windows. Her designer handbag and jewelry were untouched, ruling out robbery. But there was one chilling detail: her phone, still unlocked, lying on the floor, camera facing the ceiling as if it had captured the final moments. Police immediately sealed off the apartment, turning the glamorous penthouse into a crime scene. Investigators pulled building CCTV footage, discovering a shadowy figure entering the building shortly after Hina returned home, and leaving just minutes before the neighbors reported hearing the noise. That man was later identified as someone close to her inner circle, a trusted associate of the businessman she was secretly seeing. Dubai police described the case as highly sensitive and refused to release full details to the public. But rumors spread like wildfire: betrayal, jealousy, revenge. The influencer world was in shock. Fans flooded her last posts with comments: "Who did this? We need justice for Hina." The case became an international headline overnight, and investigators were only just beginning to uncover the chilling truth hidden behind Hina's glamorous life. The investigation into Hina Salim's death moved quickly, and every clue uncovered made the case darker. The first major lead came from security cameras. Footage showed a man entering the lobby just minutes after Hina returned home. He was wearing a mask and a hoodie, unusual for Dubai's summer heat. Cameras then caught him leaving the building only 20 minutes later, head down, hands tucked into his pockets. Police traced him to a car parked just outside. The license plate was blurred, but investigators enhanced the footage and linked the car to an associate of the wealthy businessman Hina had been secretly seeing. Forensic teams unlocked Hina's phone and discovered something chilling. Voice notes sent to her close friend in the days before her death revealed she had been receiving threats: "If you talk, you'll regret it. If you expose me, I'll ruin you." The last message on her phone was a video clip, apparently meant to be posted to her followers, where she hinted at revealing the truth soon. Investigators also pulled WhatsApp logs from the suspect's phone, showing late-night arguments between him and Hina, messages full of jealousy and anger. At the scene, police found fingerprints on a glass of water in the kitchen, not belonging to Hina. DNA swabs taken from under her fingernails suggested she had fought back. Lab results matched the DNA to the same man seen on CCTV. What police discovered next provided the likely motive. Hina had been planning to go public about her relationship with the businessman and possibly share evidence of corruption involving millions of dollars. For investigators, this changed everything. This was no random crime. This was a targeted killing, meant to silence her before she could speak out. With CCTV, digital threats, DNA evidence, and motive in hand, police arrested the associate. But the case didn't end there. Whispers grew that he might not have acted alone, and that others in powerful positions could have been involved in planning the murder. And that's where this story takes an even darker turn, because the question now wasn't just who killed Hina, but why she was silenced. The arrest of Hina Salim's suspected killer brought some answers, but also opened a floodgate of questions. Who really wanted her dead? And why? The most common theory is that this was a crime of passion. Investigators believe the associate was jealous, angry that Hina was about to expose her relationship with the wealthy businessman. Some say this was a fit of rage, a heated confrontation that turned deadly. The threatening messages and arguments support this theory, but critics argue the crime scene was too clean, too calculated, for a spur-of-the-moment attack. Another theory points higher up, that this wasn't just a personal dispute, but a planned hit. Hina had allegedly collected evidence of corruption and financial fraud involving people in powerful circles. Was her death an attempt to silence her before she could go public? This theory suggests the associate may have been just the messenger, carrying out orders from someone much more influential. Some investigators quietly believe the associate couldn't have done this alone. Building security footage hinted at another figure outside the apartment complex that night, possibly acting as a lookout. If that's true, this wasn't just a lone act of jealousy, it was a coordinated plan. Then there are those who believe Hina may have been living a double life. Her cryptic posts, late-night meetings, and sudden fear of being watched suggest she may have been caught between two worlds, the glamorous influencer lifestyle and a dangerous reality behind the scenes. Was she about to expose something bigger, something that could have brought down reputations? The most controversial theory is that the full truth might never be revealed. Dubai is known for strict control over high-profile cases. Some theorists believe not all evidence will ever be made public, to protect reputations and keep the city's image spotless. Whatever the motive, one fact remains: Hina's death wasn't random. This was targeted, deliberate, and until every piece of the puzzle is revealed, the world may never know who truly stood behind the crime, and whether justice will ever be fully served. The arrest of Rex Heuermann sent shockwaves through Long Island and across the world. For the families of the Gilgo Four, it was a moment of relief mixed with pain. After more than a decade of waiting, they finally had a name, a face, a suspect. But it didn't bring their daughters back. Melissa Barthelomew's family remembered the taunting calls they had received after she went missing, phone calls believed to have been made by her killer. Megan Waterman's loved one spoke of her young daughter, who would grow up without her mother. Amber Costello's friends described her as a fighter, a survivor, until the night she didn't come home. Even Maureen Brainerd Barnes' family, who had waited since 2007 for answers, finally had someone to hold accountable. But with that relief came rage. Why did it take so long? Could other women have been saved if the case had been solved earlier? Neighbors in Massapequa Park were stunned. They'd lived next door to Heuermann for years, never suspecting that a man accused of being a serial killer was mowing his lawn and walking past them every day. Reporters camped outside his home for weeks. Police dug through every inch of the property, the backyard, the basement, even the floorboards, searching for more evidence. The house became a macabre landmark, a place people drove past just to catch a glimpse of where he had lived. National media in the USA and UK covered every development. Headlines screamed Long Island serial killer arrested. True crime podcasts, YouTubers, and TikTok creators dissected every piece of evidence. But for investigators, the work was far from over. They're still combing through thousands of files, retesting evidence, and asking whether Rex Heuermann could be linked to more cases, not just in New York, but across the country. And for the community, the fear still lingers. The beach where the victims were found is still there. The memories are still there. And many believe there may still be more secrets buried under the sand. The Gilgo Beach murders have become more than a case. They've become a haunting reminder that even in quiet neighborhoods, evil can live next door. And until every victim is named, every question answered, and every family has closure, this story is not over. 11 bodies, more than a decade of fear, and one man, Rex Heuermann, now sitting behind bars. But even with DNA evidence, burner phones, and cell records linking him to the crime scenes, the mystery isn't over. Was Rex Heuermann truly the Long Island serial killer, or just one piece of a bigger puzzle? Some investigators believe there could still be more victims out there, more bodies, more families waiting for answers. And if Heuermann isn't responsible for all of them, that means someone else, maybe more than one person, is still free. That's the most terrifying part of the Gilgo Beach case. Even after 13 years, we still don't have the full truth. What do you think? Was Heuermann a lone predator, or could this stretch of beach have been a dumping ground for multiple killers? Drop your theory in the comments below, let's talk about it. And if this story shocked you, make sure to subscribe, hit like, and share this video with others who follow true crime, because the more people who know about these victims, the harder it becomes for their stories to be forgotten. Because sometimes the scariest part of a case isn't what we know. It's what's still buried, waiting to be found.